Alright guys, so this is another very important video, why addiction does not exist, right? So addiction is not real, okay? Because the thing is, if you still believe that you are addicted to porn, you have an addiction to porn, then believe me, quitting porn will always be a quote struggle for you, right? So it's really important to debunk this one concept, and once you debunk this, you're gonna effortlessly leave behind porn forever, okay? So the thing is, what you need to understand that if you have been watching my videos, you all know that it's not about really the physical and cause and effect reasons for which you watch porn. It's really about uh, the psychology, right? Meaning the beliefs, the perspective, paradigms, and all of those things. So once you change your beliefs, what's going to happen is your beliefs will influence your actions, right? So here, and by the way, this might sound a bit but I don't care about that. The thing is, the concept of addiction is just like the concept of Santa Claus. The concept of addiction is just like the concept of Santa Claus, okay? Now the thing is, there are there are many people that have this belief as a kid that Santa Claus exists, and even many adults in the Christian community even have this belief now. I don't know, but a lot of a lot of people in the Christian community had this belief as a kid that Santa Claus exists, okay? And if you believe that, and if you have this belief that Santa Claus exists, then guess what? You're gonna be so much excited. You're gonna be so much motivated to prepare the cookies, prepare the meals, whatever. Okay, you're gonna be so much hyped up that you will wake up every single morning. You will wake up feeling so much excited. You will be so hyped up to see the gifts, to see the boxes that quote Santa Claus put under the tree. You're gonna be motivated to see that. You're gonna be literally so much hyped up, right, because of this belief. But the day you realize that Santa Claus is not a real thing, okay? Like, there is no such thing as Santa Claus. Santa Claus does not exist. And the boxes, the gifts under the tree, that was not the Santa Claus putting them, but it was actually my own parents putting those boxes, putting those gifts under the tree. And it was my own parents who were preparing the meals, who were preparing the cookies, whatever, okay? And the moment when you will realize that it was not actually the Santa Claus that was putting those gifts under the tree, that were preparing all the meals, right? And instead it was his own parents. The moment you realize that Santa Claus does not exist, what's going to happen? You won't wake up feeling excited anymore. You won't be hyped up anymore to see the gifts, to see those boxes, because now you realize that there is no such thing as Santa Claus. Now you might be able to relate that to the addiction to porn, okay? The thing is, the concept of Santa Claus is just like the concept of addiction, right? Meaning that they are simply concepts. They are not objectively the truth. They are simply quote concepts that exist in your mind, and it's not objectively there, okay? Right? The thing is, and if you believe that Santa Claus exists, then guess what? You're gonna act according to your belief. You're gonna wake up feeling so excited. You're gonna be so much hyped up and all of those things. But once you realize that, wait, man, Santa Claus is not actually a real thing. It's not actually a real concept. Santa Claus doesn't exist. Then guess what? You're not gonna feel excited anymore. You're not gonna feel hyped up anymore. You see, the concept of addiction is just like the concept of Santa Claus, right? Meaning that it's simply a concept that is not objectively there, that does not exist objectively, right? It's simply a belief. Now, and the moment you stop believing in addiction is the moment you will stop feeling out of control by porn, okay? Let me show you a study study was done in 2022, basically, right? So this study simply shows that almost 63% to 68% of the teens meaning the teenagers who just went through the puberty, have watched porn in their lives, right? So what it shows that it's not that every single one of them, but it's only 63 to 68% of the teens, the teenagers that just went through the puberty, they have watched porn in their lives, okay? And that study shows that out of those 63 to 68% of the teenagers, only 42% of them, I mean not 42% of them, but like 42% of the overall, uh, out of this like 63 to 68%, only 42% of like overall, they have watched porn in the last year. So what it shows that at least 20% of them that have watched porn, they have never, they didn't even watch porn. They haven't watched porn, and it's crazy, okay, because it's like a whole 1 year for most people, and you will never hear someone say that, oh, I consume porn once every single year. That's weird, right? So what it shows that you need to understand that also it's 63 to 68% of the teenagers, and we all know that teenagers are a kind of the teenagers are very influenceable, they're a kind of naive, right? So it's like the teenagers that just went through the puberty, they have high testosterone, they have high libido and all of those things, and only 63 to 68% of them, they have watched porn in their lives. And out of those 63 to 68%, only 42% of them, they watched porn in the last year. And at least 20% of them, they have watched porn, and they have at least 20% of them that watched porn, they have never even watched porn once again, right? So the thing is, it's not the universal truth that every single person on this earth watches porn. It's not the universal truth that everyone will be pulled to watch porn, right? Because the thing is, if that was the case, then this number would be near to 100%, right? Like it's, if that was the case, then every single one of them would be watching porn. Every single one of them would be pulled to watch porn because of their biology, right? It would not be 63 to 68%, right? But it shows that it's not that every single one of them watches porn because of their biology, right? Because it's only 63 to 68% of the teens, right? And also for women this number is even lower. For women this number is even lower than that, right? So what it shows that it's not because of biology, it's not about because of their biology, right? It's simply that they get influenced to watch porn. What it really shows that also the teenagers, we all know that teenagers are a very influenceable, they are kind of naive, right? So why is it that if they are naive, why is it that if the teenagers, they are influenceable, then why is it not that every single one of them watches porn? Because of their biology. Because it's not that they are forced to watch porn because of their biology, but they simply get influenced to watch porn. Maybe their classmates told them to watch porn, maybe their friends told them to watch porn, maybe the people around them told them, oh, search this thing on the internet, and you're gonna explore something. You see, they all get influenced to watch porn. And when it comes to women, it's even lower than that, right? For women, it shows that most women never even watch porn in their lives, and while some women do. And statistics shows that for women it's almost like 50-50, right? And if it's 50-50, then how is it possible? Then that doesn't make any sense, right? Like if it's 50-50, then why is it that they are not why is it that they are not they are not watching porn because of their biology? Because it shows that it's not about biology, it's not about sexual needs, it's not about evolution, it's simply that they get influenced to watch porn It's simply that they get influenced to watch porn. Maybe their classmates told them to watch porn. Maybe their people around them told them to watch porn. They got exposed to them. So the thing is, it's really important to understand, okay? Just like the because you need to understand that porn is not about biology, sexual needs, and all of those things. Porn is simply a cultivated preference, meaning that you learn to like it, right? Just like the black coffee, right? Like, I used to drink black coffee a lot. Even now I love drinking black coffee, right? But if I tell you the backstory about it, at first when I drink black coffee, I literally didn't like its taste at all. Yeah, maybe sometimes I like its taste, but and I also like drinking black coffee a lot. But at first, when I tried to when I drink black coffee without sugar, without milk, believe me, I didn't like its taste at all. I literally find it disgusting. I literally find its taste weird and disgusting, right? So the thing is, you need to understand that, but what happened is, as time went on, when I started attaching benefits with it, and when I was like, oh, black coffee, black coffee, whenever I drink black coffee, it improves my focus, it boosts my energy, it gives me so much drive and energy, and it helps me to do more work out of my day, and I'm able to focus on my work more. I'm able to do more work than could ever possible, right? So when I started attaching benefits with the black coffee, now what happened? I literally started to like it eventually. I learned to like it. I built a preference for it, right? So it's simply a cultivated preference. Now, in the same way, if I would just drink black coffee for the taste, in the same way, if I would just drink black coffee for the taste, just like if I would watch porn for the video, do you think that it's gonna be special for me? No, you would not feel anything, right? Like, what's special about a screen with the pixels, with changing colors? Like, what's special about a lifeless video? Like, how can you get addicted to a screen? That's the question you need to ask yourself, right? So there's another thing to understand, okay? That there is an old definition of addiction. There's an old definition of addiction, right? And it's that something that you would do to an excess. Something that you would do to an excess, excessively, repeatedly, right? That's the old definition of addiction. Basically, that was what addiction meant a few years back. This is the old definition of addiction. That's something that you would do to an excess, repeatedly, excessively, right? Now, if based on this old definition, the thing that most people don't understand is that they actually love watching porn to an excess. They actually like to watch porn to an excess, right? And the thing is, the problem comes with porn. The problem with porn is that there comes the moral side of things, right? There also comes the moral side of things and religious side of things, whatever. The thing is, but if you were to watch movies every single day, let's say you watch movies every single day, then there is not a moral side of things, except if you believe there is. There's not gonna be shame and guilt, except if you think that you have wasted your time watching movies, whatever, okay? But other than that, there is no moral side of things when it comes to watching movies every single day. And also, I remember I used to watch a lot of cartoons in my childhood. I used to watch so many anime cartoons and all of those things, right? And then except when I entered into the self-improvement stuff, I started videos about, improving myself and all of those things. Then I stopped watching cartoons. I was like, I should not waste my time. But other than that, I really enjoyed watching cartoons. I really enjoyed doing those things. And the same thing goes with porn. Same thing goes with porn, right? But the thing is, people don't admit it, but we don't admit it that we actually like to watch porn. And I told you why, okay? Because there's different reasons. Because it's a taboo, it's morally bad, right? And also there's comes the religious side of things as well. So there's the shame and guilt around it when it comes to watching porn. You know, if we use this label of if we use this quote label of addiction, then people can literally get quote addicted to anything, right? People can get addicted to love, they can get quote addicted to work, hobbies, whatever, okay? Like, just think about a boxer. You know, a boxer who does boxing every single day, we could be saying that he's quote addicted to boxing, because he's doing it to an excess. He's doing it repeatedly, excessively, based on the old definition of addiction, right? The thing is, we should not put this quote label of addiction as something bad, but rather as something that we like to do, right? Another very important thing to understand is that, people don't actually admit this. People actually don't like to admit it. But because they think that if they're gonna admit that they like to watch porn, then they're gonna watch more of it. But it's not like that, okay? The thing is, what you resist persists, right? Like, if you constantly try to resist what you like to do, then what's gonna happen is, you won't be able to question yourself why you like doing it, right? And if you will not question yourself why you like doing it, then you will always end up liking it. You will always end up doing it, if that makes sense, right? So the thing is, the problem comes is that people don't actually admit it, and they actually don't like to admit it, because there's the shame and guilt around it. And I totally understand that. It's totally normal. But the thing is, if you will feel shame and guilt and morality, then it's gonna always cloud the actual reasons for which you want to watch porn, right? So just put the shame, guilt, and morality aside for 2 minutes, right? And really accept that, you know what, you actually like to watch porn. Really admit that you like to watch porn, okay? Because what you resist always persists. And if you constantly try to resist what you actually like to do, then you will always end up doing it, if that makes sense, right? You won't be able to question yourself why you like doing it, right? So there's one another thing. And by the way, I took this from a book called The Cult of Pharmacology, right? A very awesome book, by the way. So it simply tells us that addiction has no science, and it only symptoms. Addiction has no signs and only symptoms, okay? And when you look at this, you're like, bro, wait, right? So the thing is, what you need to understand that when it comes to, for example, cancer, right? Like, when people have cancer, like, let's say when you have cancer, we can scan it into your body. Like, we can receive tumor cells, we can scan it easily inside your body, okay? Like tumors, for example, you receive tumor, whatever. So when someone has cancer, we can easily scan cancer into his body, right? We can easily scan cancer into his body. But and also the cancer has some also the signs as well. The cancer, when it comes to cancer, it has signs as well. Your body shows signs that you have cancer, and we can easily scan it into your body as well. And also your body also have symptoms, like whatever is happening inside your body. But when it comes to addiction, we have none of that. We have literally none of that, okay? Because think about it for a second. When someone have this quote addiction, we cannot scan addiction in someone's body just like cancer, right? We cannot scan this special thing called addiction into your body, okay? right? Like for example, when someone drink alcohol for example, okay, then if someone drink quote alcohol quote compulsively, then we cannot scan addiction into his body just like cancer, okay? Just when it comes to drinking alcohol, there people can become physically sick, like their lungs might be destroyed. When they when they smoke cigarettes, their lungs might be destroyed, whatever, okay? There are physical damages, there are physical damage. But the thing is, there is no special thing called addiction which we can scan into people's body, right? Like we cannot do like this. Oh, if someone is drinking alcohol quote compulsively, then there is no special thing called addiction into his body that we can easily scan. We can prove that, oh, this thing is called addiction, right? Like it's not like, oh, this guy is he drinks alcohol quote compulsively, and we can, yes, scan into his body that, oh, there is a special thing, oh, this is a special thing called addiction. Because if that was the case, then we would literally do surgery and boom, the addiction was gone. But it's not like that, okay? Because addiction, it has no signs, just like cancer. Because cancer, we can easily scan it into people's body because it's physically there, it's objectively there. But addiction is not like cancer, okay? It has no signs, right? And only symptoms, okay, right? But when it comes to symptoms are very, very subjective. They are not objective, they are very, very subjective, meaning that every single person might feel different about it, right? Like some might feel tired, some might feel very happy, some might feel nothing, whatever, okay? You see, symptoms are very, very subjective, they are not objective. So if you believe that you're quote addicted to porn, then you're gonna literally feel like you're addicted. It's really that simple, okay? The thing is, addiction is not addiction. Addiction is simply a concept. Like it's simply a concept, it's not objectively there, it's simply a concept, right? That we attach to certain things that we feel and experience. Like for example, we attach withdrawals to porn, and withdrawals is very big, okay? I've made a video about it, I would highly recommend you to watch it, debunking withdrawals. But also we attach different concepts to porn, like we attach withdrawals, we attach quote compulsions, we attach temptations and all of those things, okay? And also we attach withdrawals to porn, we attach withdrawals to the things that we feel and experience. Like for example, we attach withdrawals to certain bad events that are happening in our life. Like we attach withdrawals to certain bad quote bad events that are happening in our life, okay? We attach literally withdrawals to it. We say that, oh, this is the sign that I have a withdrawal to porn, okay? You see, it's the same way with addiction. Addiction is simply a concept that we attach to the things that we feel and experience, okay? But you need to understand that this concept is not true, okay? Right? Like there is nothing inside your body that we can that can prove that you have an addiction. Addiction has no signs, okay? So that's what, look, the freedom from porn is very, very simple, okay? And I've seen, and by the way, I'm giving you this example, and this is not to blame you, this is not to this is not to demotivate you, this is not to compare you with anyone else, and this is not to tell you that, or this is something that you should. The thing is, the freedom from porn is very, very simple, okay? Because look, I've seen many people, and in fact I know many of them, that never even bought into the nofap ideology, right? That they never even bought into this nofap ideology. They don't even know any concepts about addiction, withdrawals, compulsions, temptations, whatever, self-image, whatever, okay? They don't even know about nofap, but they watched porn in their teenage years, they have masturbated in in the few weeks, a couple of times, or maybe every single day. Depends, like it's very very subjective. So, and the thing is, and then at certain point of their lives, when they, for example, got into a business, let's say they just got into some kind of business, and they just wanted to change their life around, then guess what, they literally decided to stop watching porn, and they left porn and masturbation forever, and they simply went on in their lives, right? And I've seen many of them. Okay, there are a lot of people in the society that that have watched porn, that have masturbated a couple of times, or maybe every single day, but the moment they decided to stop, uh, because for their own sake, maybe for the faith reasons, or maybe they just got into the business and they wanted to change their life around, they just stopped like this. They effortlessly left behind porn, masturbation forever, and then simply went on in their lives, right? And the reason, and there are so many people like this in the society, and the reason why I say that there are so many of them, because look, I want to bring up this point in the video. The reason why I say that there are so many of those people in the society, because we cannot see those people that are not in the nofap community. We cannot see those people that have left porn and masturbation behind forever, and they are not watching the video about how to quit porn. They are not watching these nofap videos. They are not in the nofap communities. They are not in the nofap Reddit forum. Like, why would they be in those communities if they have already left porn and masturbation forever, and they simply went on in their lives? Why would they need to watch videos about how to quit porn? Right? We cannot see those people because they are not in the nofap space. They are not watching videos about nofap, right? They are not even in the nofap communities. We cannot see those guys, but I've seen many of them. Okay, so why is it that these guys have easily left behind porn and masturbation forever? Because they don't have this concept of, oh, I'm addicted to porn. Oh, I have withdrawals and compulsions. I just left porn, that means I have withdrawals, that means I have strong compulsions and temptations, and I'm gonna give in, I'm gonna. No, they don't have any of those concepts. They don't even know what is nofap, right? And even let me give you another example. Okay, I used to play a lot of video games in the past, and the moment I decided to stop playing video games, I simply left video games behind and I went on in my life, right? And when I left video games, I was not in these I was not watching videos about how to quit video games, and I was not I was not leaving comments in the YouTube videos that, oh guys, you guys, I just left video games, and I just left video games. I was not in the community where I was saying where I was telling people that, yo, I just left video games. No, it was simply that I just left it. I just left video games and I went on in my life, right? But if I were to watch these videos about that video games is an addiction, then I would probably be still playing video games, right? But the thing is, there are so many communities even now that talk about that video games is an addiction, whatever, right? But because I was not in those communities, I was not watching videos about it, so that's why I didn't even have this concept of, oh, I'm addicted to playing video games. And because of that, I literally left video games behind and I simply went on in my life easily, right? So what it shows that the freedom is very simple. You see, the concept of addiction makes it 10 times harder to leave behind porn and masturbation forever. Okay, so let me show you another studies, another very interesting studies to prove this. Okay, so by the way, there are a lot of studies I can show you. So this is one of those studies, and if you guys want these studies, you can message me on Instagram and I will send you all those studies, right? The thing is, when it comes to the studies, there is one study that shows that the typical lifespan of addiction is like almost the typical lifespan of addiction of alcohol and all of those things is for 5 years, right? Even though I don't believe in this concept of addiction, but let's say if addiction was, let's say if there was such thing as addiction, then it can only last for 5 years. Like the typical lifespan for addiction is for 5 years, and that shows that addiction goes down over time, right? And this study shows that it goes down with time, right? And if, like, how is that possible? Addiction goes down with time, and the study shows that it only lasts for almost like 5 years, right? And also there is one another study that shows that, basically there was a study done on the people who got drink alcohol got compulsively, right? And these people, when the study was done, that study simply showed that those people who believed in the concept of addiction, who believed that they were got addicted, those people had literally 9 times higher relapse rate and 15 times higher binge rate. Basically those people, the study showed that those people who believed that they were got addicted to alcohol, they were who believed in this concept of addiction, they literally had 9 times higher relapse rate and 15 times higher binge rate as compared to those people who literally didn't believe that they were addicted, who didn't believe that they were got addicted. You see, the people who believed that they were got addicted to alcohol, they had the people who believed in this concept of addiction, they had 9 times higher relapse rate and 15 times higher binge rate as compared to those people who didn't believe that they were addicted, who didn't believe that they were got addicted. And what that shows that it's not what that shows that it's really about your beliefs at the end of the day. Okay, it's really about the beliefs. It's really about your beliefs at the end of the day. What it shows that it's really about the beliefs at the end of the day. Okay, now look, the thing is, if we use this label of addiction, then people can literally become quote addicted to anything, right? Like you might see on the internet videos about, people have, so many strange addictions. Like people have strange addictions where it's like, people literally smell tuna, for example, and they feel like, oh, I'm addicted to it. People literally smell coffee and they feel like, oh, I'm addicted to it. People have really strange addictions. Okay, if you see on the internet the videos about it. So the thing is, what you need to understand that addiction is not addiction. Addiction is not addiction, but it's simply a cultivated preference, a learned preference. Okay, cultivated preference, meaning that at first you don't like it, but it's just that you learn to like it, just like anything else in life. Okay, so it's simply a cultivated preference. And what you need to ask yourself is that what creates that preference, right? Like what creates that preference. And sometimes addiction is the reason why you keep on using porn. Addiction is the reason sometimes why you keep on watching porn. Okay, but what creates that preference are the benefits, right? And what you gotta ask yourself, like, think about it for a second. What benefits do you get out of porn? Pleasure, sexual relief, emotional relief. I don't want to get too much into it because I've already made videos about it. I have videos about debunking these specific benefits. I would highly recommend you to watch it. They are very awesome. They will help you tremendously. Okay, so what creates that preference are the benefits, right? The pleasure, sexual relief, stress relief, emotional relief, whatever, right? So these are the benefits. Like, you literally get all these benefits from watching porn. But the reality is, you don't get those benefits from watching porn. It's simply because you believe you get those benefits from watching porn, right? It's just that you believe that you will get those benefits from watching porn. Okay, but the thing is, in reality, they are not. The benefits are not inherently inside of porn. It's just that you believe that you will get those benefits from watching porn, and there's you create those benefits. Like, it's like an active placebo, right? So, and that's why you end up wanting porn, desiring porn, in order, because of those benefits. Okay, but in reality, porn is not actually giving you those benefits. It's simply because you believe porn gives you those things, right? And that's why it creates an active placebo effect, right? So these are the benefits, right? And that's the reason why you have a cultivated preference, right? And also, think about it for a second. Okay, like, people play video games just like me. In the past, I used to play video games for like 8 hours a day, literally 8 hours a day, right? I literally would play video games every single day, uh, every single day. Okay, and I still remember that I used to play video games, and every single time I would there was a new update, I would be so motivated, I would be so excited to wake up early in the morning, and I would just play and start playing video games, right? And I still remember that there was an update of Clash of Clans, the game, and I was so hyped up, I was so excited to play the new update, that I literally slept at 12 a.m., right? And I woke up at 5, right? Literally, I was so hyped up, I was so excited, and I literally woke up to play that new update. So what that shows, that when you are passionate about something, when you have quote benefits about something, then you're going to be motivated towards it. Right? The thing is benefits, and another thing is the beliefs, right? Now, what you need to understand, that people have, and if you use the label of addiction, then people have literally different kind of quote addictions, right? Like, and they all see, and if you see, people have, for example, people literally smell coffee, and people literally smell tuna, they smell petrol, this whatever, people have different kind of strange addictions. Okay, and I have videos about them in the past. Okay, so people have different kind of addictions, right? And if you notice one thing, that all of them have similar benefits in all of those things, right? Like, all of them see similar benefits in all of those things, whether it's pleasure or relief, emotional relief, whatever. Okay, like, for example, people literally see the similar benefits in those things, where it's like, they smell a coffee, they smell tuna, and for them it's a relief from their emotions. For them it's a relief from their life emotions. For them it's a relief, right? But what if I give you, but what if I tell you that, yo, bro, if you are feeling pain, if you are feeling bad, go and smell a coffee. You're gonna be like, bro, what the hell are you saying? It's gonna be the most weirdest thing that you will ever hear, right? Obviously, you're not gonna feel that, because you're not gonna believe in it, right? There's not gonna be an active placebo effect, right? Now, if we go back to porn, what if you tell a random kid, let's say a random kid that, who's feeling down, who's feeling pain, and you tell him that, oh, bro, if you're feeling pain, if you're feeling down, and you want to get pleasure, then go and watch a video of two people having sex on a small screen. Like, bro. And it's not to shame you at all. Okay, it's not to shame you that, oh, you should feel shame about it because you watch a video of two people having sex, whatever. Okay, no, it's not like that. Okay, it's just to show you that it's really because you believe, right? It's really because you believe. It's just that you attach personal meaning to porn in a way that it gives us benefits, and because of that you want to watch porn. You desire porn, you crave porn, whatever. Okay, we don't watch porn for no reasons. Okay, right? We don't watch porn for no reasons, or because our brain is rewired differently, or we have been watching it for so many years, and no, we watch it because we associate benefits with it, right? We want to get benefits from it. We want to watch porn, right, for the benefits, even though those benefits are not inside of porn. Okay, even though porn does not give those benefits, right? It's simply because we believe, and because of that we want to watch porn. We start craving porn, we start desiring porn. At first you don't like it, but you just learn to like it. Okay, so now another very big misconception. Look, now another very big misconception, a huge misconception in the porn industry and in the nofap space, and initially it comes from the porn industry itself, and the misconception is simply that porn contains power. Porn is powerful, and it's a huge misconception. Okay, people have kind of this belief, like most people will deny it, but most people have this belief to a certain extent, where they think that porn is so powerful that it almost like it takes over you, just like a quote demon, just like a devil takes over you, and it kind of like controls you and it pulls you in, right? And you have no control over it, and you try to fight it off, but it doesn't work. You see, people literally have this belief. Okay, people literally believe that. Now the thing kind of like portrays a situation, it kind of like portrays this concept that there's literally a whole separate entity. There's literally a whole separate entity that is a whole separate entity, something external that is fighting you off, that is fighting you off to watch porn, that is forcing you to watch porn, compelling you to watch porn, that is going inside your mind and controlling your body and controlling your thoughts. And it's, if you're honest with yourself, a lot of people say that, oh, I have two voices. I have one voice telling me to watch porn, and I have one voice telling me to not watch porn. The one voice is the devil, and the other one is the angel. Okay, like this, they literally say that, oh, one voice is the willpower and one voice is the devil, whatever, right? It's very subjective. Okay, and it kind of portrays this situation, this concept that, oh, you have something external, something else, literally like a separate entity, whether it's physical, whether it's not physical, literally fighting you off to watch porn, and it's forcing you to watch porn, it's compelling you to watch porn. Let's just use pure logic. Okay, let's just be honest with ourselves. Okay, now, bro, if you're literally having a fight with what people say, a demon or the devil, or something external, something else, or a little monster, whatever, then, bro, how can you leave porn in the first place? How can you leave porn in the first place if you literally believe in that? Like, think about it for a second. Okay, no one, if that was the case, if literally you were having a fight with someone, then no one would have left porn. I would not have left porn. My students wouldn't have left porn. Many people who never watched a single video about nofap, and they just quit porn and masturbation forever and went on in their lives, they would have never able to do that. They would have never left porn. We have this kind of rational belief where we believe that, oh, there's a third party entity that that kind of goes inside our mind, that goes inside our body, and it almost like it's almost like as if it controls us, it pulls us towards it, and we have no control over it, and we're going to fight it off, and it doesn't work. It creates an urge that you have no control over it, and you have to fight it off with all of your willpower and discipline, and even if you do, it's not going to work, and you will go back to porn. It's pure bullshit. Okay, it's pure bullshit. You just want to watch porn, that's it, right? And you truly realize that, bro, it's actually you controlling yourself. It's actually you that is always in control. Like, you have full control over it. You create those voices, right? You create those voices inside your head because you literally want to watch porn. And then you're like, bro, I have full control over it. Yes, you have full control over it. You have full control over it. You create those voices inside your head because you want to watch porn for the benefits. You create this thing where it's like, oh, the devil controls me, whatever. You create that, okay, because you want to watch porn. Now I will, and this is one another thing that people don't like to accept. And this is simply what I call, the license. Like when you are able to, what I call the license to misbehave. And people do this many time, people do this every single time with alcohol, okay. So what what actually happens is people do this every single time with alcohol, where they literally blame their drug use, alcohol use, drug consumption, alcohol consumption, for the actions that they take, which can be quote quote negative, which are not acceptable, right. The license to misbehave, there's a point. So I told you that you want to watch porn because of the benefits, right? Pleasure, stress relief, emotion relief, sexual relief, whatever, okay? Pain relief, frustration relief, anxiety, and all of those reliefs, okay? And we want to watch porn because every single every single time when we are feeling down. And one thing that you will realize, that you don't watch porn when you feel on top of the world, when you feel very happy, and you only watch it when you feel down, when you feel some kind of negative emotions. What it shows, that you're always looking for a fix, you're always looking for a solution to your problems, right? The thing is, it's not even about, so what it shows, that it's not even about biology, reproduction, sexual relief, intimacy, none of those things, okay. It's just about feeling better. It's just about feeling better, okay. You think that porn will make you feel better, and that's why you want to watch porn, to feel better, right? For you, the value of porn is not like, oh, porn is a video of two people having sex. No, for you, the value of porn is like, oh, porn is a video of two people having sex, but it's gonna give me so much pleasure, it's gonna give me so much euphoria, it's gonna give me so much, it's gonna relieve my stress, it's gonna give me so much dopamine, it's gonna relieve my negative emotion, it's gonna give me pain relief, it's gonna it's so magical that it's gonna give me an escape from my life problems and all of those things. You see, like for you, porn is not just a video of two people having sex. For you, porn is this special thing where it's like a magic for you, this magical thing for you that's gonna give you all of those things, right? Then obviously, if it's like that, then obviously you will want to watch porn. You will want a relief from your life problems, you will want that pleasure, you will want to feel better, you will want an escape, you will want the solution to your problems, to your life problems. You will want something what's going to help you with your problems, whether it's even if it's for 5 seconds, even if it's for 5 days, 5 months, 5 years, whatever, okay. You will want that, right? Of course, you will want to watch porn, like, so it's like, you want to watch porn, but at the same time you get told that, oh, watching porn is bad for you, watching porn is bad, you will feel shame about it, it's a taboo, it's morally bad, it's not socially acceptable, it's gonna destroy your life, and basically you get told all of those things so that you should feel shame and guilt when you watch porn, right? So what happens is, you want to get the benefits, right, but at the same time you don't want to feel the shame. So what happens is, you watch porn and then you blame the devil. You're like, oh, oh, it's because the devil controlled me. Now guess what, instead of saying, you blame the devil, instead of saying that, oh, I want to watch porn because I like it, I want the benefits, you just say that because of the benefits I'm getting, which of course, which people, if they were honest, they would say that, okay. But people don't want to say that because they feel shame and guilt, which is totally normal, okay. But the thing is, what happens is, but because you're able to blame the devil, what happens is, you feel less shame. You're not taking the responsibility for watching porn. You're not saying that, oh, I like to watch porn. Like imagine you're saying to someone, like let's say you're saying to someone, imagine you say to someone that, yo, I love watching porn because it gives me so much pleasure, it gives me so much stress relief, it gives me so much pain relief and all of those things. And a lot of people actually say that, people that don't buy into this nofap ideology, and they just watch porn casually. A lot of people say that, okay? And when you say that to someone, guess what? He's gonna be like, man, what the hell are you saying? Okay, saying that to someone, okay, and they're gonna be like, man, what the hell is wrong with you? What the hell are you saying? Okay, man, something is wrong with you. Really, you really have got a problem. You see, the thing is, and you don't want to hear those things, okay? You don't want to hear those things. You don't want to hear someone's judgment, right? So what happens is, you literally, and addiction is a big one, okay? You're like, so what happens is, you watch porn and then you lie to yourself. You say that, oh, I watched porn, but I didn't want to. I had no control over it. It's because I'm addicted, man. I have no willpower. I have no control over myself. So now, instead of putting the blame on myself, where it's like, oh, I just took a choice to watch porn because I wanted to watch it because of the benefits, but I'm gonna blame porn. I'm gonna blame addiction. I'm gonna blame the fact that I've been watching porn for so long. I'm gonna blame the fact that I have withdrawals. I'm gonna blame the fact that I have compulsion and cravings and I have no control over it. And imagine you say that to someone. Imagine you say this to someone that, oh, I watched porn, but I didn't really want it to watch it. I have no control over it. And I have, and I feel a bit of shame. I didn't want it to watch porn. I'm just addicted, right? Now what's gonna happen now these guys gonna be like, oh, I understand, bro, I understand, you are in a difficult situation, and I totally understand that. It's totally normal. They're not gonna be like, oh, you are weird, why you watch porn. They're gonna be like, oh, I understand, man. It's really tough if you have an addiction and you have no control over it. I totally understand. You see, it's really different, okay? It's way more different. You feel less shame about it by blaming something else, by blaming addiction, by blaming the devil, and you also got the benefits. You wanted to get the benefits with feeling less shame, okay? And once you understand that, you're gonna be like, oh, so it's really just about the human behaviors, okay? It's really about the normal human psychology, right? And the thing is, even with substances, people still have control over their own body, okay? And to explain this, I will give you a very simple scenario. Okay? And this is a real life scenario, by the way, okay? So think of this scenario, okay? Where there's a guy who is literally drunk, okay? Basically, he has drunk, like, there's a guy who is literally drunk, right? He has drank alcohol, whatever, and suddenly the guy is walking. Let's say the guy is he's drunk and he's walking back to his house, okay? And he's walking on the street, and suddenly a police pulls over him, okay? Suddenly a cop pulls over him, a police pulls over him. And also the guy, of course, the guy is drunk, and people will gonna be like, oh, he has no control over his own body, he's not in his senses, he has no control over his own brain, and he's not in his will, whatever, right? But let's say that guy is drunk, okay? Let's say he is drunk, and suddenly who pulls over? The police. Don't you think that guy would be feeling so much stressed? That guy would be feeling that guy would not have a control over his own body? No. Right? That guy would literally become so serious, right? If, like, suddenly when police will pull over him, that guy will literally become so serious. He will literally become he's gonna be so much serious. He's gonna be so much scared as well, that he's gonna literally act like he's not drunk. He's literally gonna act like he's not drunk, okay? He's literally become way more serious when a police will pull over him, right? So what it shows, that even with substances, people still have control over their own self. People still have control over their own body, okay? Right? The thing is, And just like I will give you another example, okay? Imagine, let's say you're in the middle of watching porn. Let's say you're in the middle of that session, okay? Imagine you're watching porn, and you're in the middle of watching it. You're in the middle of that session. You're in the middle of watching porn, and suddenly someone walks upon you. Let's say your mother, your father, or maybe someone else. Suddenly someone walks upon you. Don't you think that you would not be feeling stressed? You would not feel anything because you are watching porn and you have no control over it. This, you are being compelled by the screen. No, you would be feeling very, very stressed, okay? You would be feeling so much anxious that you're gonna literally shut down your laptop. You're literally gonna shut down your phone, even if you're in the middle of watching porn. What it shows that if you are compelled by the screen, if you're being controlled by the screen, then how is that possible that you are able to stop in the middle of watching it? How is it possible? Okay, like if that was the case, then even if someone walked upon you when you were in the middle of watching porn, then you would not have control over your own self, okay? You were being forced by the screen. You would not be able to control yourself, and you would not be able to shut down your laptop. You will keep on watching it until you are done. But that's not the case, okay? What it shows that you are in control. You're always in control at all times, okay? You're literally always in control at all times. You're always choosing to watch porn because you want to get the benefits. You're always choosing, right? The whole damn time. There is nothing forcing you to watch it. There is no one forcing you to watch it. It's just you want to watch porn. That's it. Right? Now there are certain questions that you need to ask from yourself, and these questions will literally help you to debunk this addiction concept completely, okay? So there are certain questions that you need to ask from yourself, and once you truly ask these questions from yourself, you're going to realize that addiction is not what we think it is, okay? So first question that you need to ask from yourself is that look, like why do some people binge watch porn, and then and while some other people watch it once and they're like, okay, I'm done for the rest of the week. And also there's some other people who do it once every 2 months or once every 3 months, and whilst there are some other people who never even do it, and they just stop and they move on in their life. And also there's some other people as well who never even watched porn in their lives. Now the question comes is, what is the addiction here? What is the addiction here, okay? What is the meaning of addiction here? Like, think about it, okay? If addiction was really a real concept, if addiction was really such a thing, then all of those guys, all of those people would be struggling the same. All of them would be literally struggling the same, okay? But why is it that one guy watches porn once a week and he's done for the rest of the week, while some other people watch it once and they just stopped and they move on in their lives, whilst other people whilst there are some other people who just watch it once and they stopped and they simply quit it, and they get rid of it, and they simply stop watching it for the rest of their lives, and they went on in their lives. Whilst there are some other people who never even watched porn in their lives, right? Whilst there are some other people who watch it once every 2 or 3 months. Like, how is it possible that why almost the same person with literally the same age, right, the same hormones, but they are showing two different reactions? Like, what is the addiction here then, right? So what it shows that we have full control over it, because we have full control over it. Okay, we control our behavior based on what we think it's gonna give us, right? Just like the black coffee, okay? Think of like a black coffee. I told you, I see benefits in drinking black coffee. At first I didn't like it. It's simply a cultivated preference. I just learned to like it because of the benefits, right? I saw benefits in it. Benefits like, oh, it's gonna boost my focus, it's gonna boost my energy, it's gonna give me so much drive and hunger that I will be able to do more work out of my day, okay? You see, I attached benefits with it, and because of that, I built a preference for it. There's a motivation towards it, right? Now, let me give you an example, okay? So I still remember I smoked a vape, a very strong vape, uh, for the first time in my life. And guess what? I smoked it. I was like, okay, okay, yeah, it tastes good, whatever. But I didn't feel compelled to smoke it again. I literally didn't feel compelled to smoke it, right? Right. And the reason why, I literally smoked vape for the first time in my life. I smoked it once, but I didn't feel compelled to smoke it. I literally didn't feel like I'm being compelled to smoke it. And the reason why we don't do this with porn, the reason why we don't do this with porn is because we have so many limiting beliefs around it, right? Like, for example, if I had these beliefs in vape, if I had these beliefs in smoking vape, that uh, like, for example, if I had this belief around smoking vapes, that, oh, I will feel more cool, I will feel more manly if I smoke vapes, I'll feel more cooler, I will look so cool if I smoke vapes, then guess what? I would probably still be smoking vapes. I would probably still build a preference for smoking vapes, and I would literally be smoking it every single day, okay? But because I didn't had those limiting beliefs around it, I didn't believe that smoking vapes would make me feel more cooler. Guess what? I didn't feel like I wanted to smoke vapes. It's really that simple, okay? Now let me show you. Now it's time for showing you the studies to prove that why addiction is not true, okay? So first study I want to show you, and by the way, this is a very interesting study, and I have given this study in the debunking pleasure video as well. The study of a candy, okay, candy study. Now, in this research, in this study, there was a study done in a tribe, basically. Like, basically, there was a tribe uh, who never even consumed candy for their whole life, okay? They didn't even know what what it was, okay? They never consumed candy for their entire lives, okay? So for the marketing purpose, for marketing of the candy, what happened is there was a company, who gave candies to those people who were living in the tribes, who never even consumed candies for their whole life, and they gave candies to those people. Now what it showed, that when people consumed those candies, they literally didn't like its taste, right? But if you give the same candy to someone else, to someone living in the modernized society, he might feel so much pleasure eating that candy. He might like its taste, whatever. But when the company gave candies to the people living in tribes, what happened is these guys literally didn't like its taste, and instead they find it weird and disgusting. They didn't literally like its taste at all, okay? So what it shows, that you know they literally didn't like its taste at all, and they found it weird and disgusting. What it shows, that it's really about our beliefs at the end of the day, okay? It's really about our beliefs at the end of the day. Like, these guys literally consumed the belly of an animal, which which someone else, like, which we believe that is the most disgusting thing. But these guys literally get so much pleasure from it. They get so much pleasure from it, but for someone else it might not be pleasurable. It's absolutely disgusting and weird, right? And also, I will show you another study. So there's another study about opiates. A study done, basically opiate study, in which there were 150 young males, 150 young men, right, who never even, and about opiates is kind of a drug. Opiates is a drug, also known as morphine, mostly. So basically, the 150 young males, those 150 young men, they never even consumed opiates for like their whole life, okay? They never consumed opiates in their entire life. And those 150 young males were given opiates, who never even consumed opiates for like their whole life. And guess what that study showed? Out of those 150 young males, only three of them wanted to repeat the experience, right? Uh, like 150 young males, those 150 young males were given opiates who never consumed opiates for like their whole life. And out of those 150 young males, only 3 of them wanted to repeat the experience. Like, how is it possible that opiates, which literally people say that it's a drug that is considered severely quote addictive, and once and if you consume opiates once, and you're gonna become quote addicted to it, and it's so much addictive and whatever, okay? Like, how is it possible that those 150 young males who were given opiates, and out of those 150 young males, only 3 of them wanted to repeat the experience? Like, if addiction was such a thing, okay, then why is it that only 3 of them wanted to repeat the experience and not all of them? And guess what? The study also showed that the other guys, okay, they literally find it weird and disgusting. They didn't even find it pleasurable, right? So what it shows that addiction is simply a concept that exists in your mind, okay? It's simply a belief, right? So, and there is another study, okay? I want to give you another study. I want to add here another study, by the way. A study done of Peruvian tribe, okay? So there was a tribe, basically also known as Peruvian tribe. So the people living in Peruvian tribe, they consumed coca leaves, which is a real cocaine, okay? So this is a tribe, Peruvian tribe. Now the people of these tribes literally consumed coca leaves, which is also known as a real cocaine, which is the real cocaine, right? So these guys literally, the people living in Peruvian tribes, they literally consumed coca leaves, which is basically a real cocaine. And guess what? They literally showed no signs of dependency or withdrawals. They literally showed no signs of dependency or withdrawals, right? What it shows that because these people didn't have this belief that they're going to become dependent, they're going to become quote addicted to cocaine, and they're going to have withdrawals and all of those things. So that's why they didn't even feel like they were quote addicted. They didn't even feel like out of control. They didn't even feel like they're going to have withdrawals and all of those things, okay? Because it's really about our beliefs at the end of the day, okay? So Peruvian tribes, they consumed coca leaves, which is the real cocaine, and they literally showed no signs of dependency or withdrawals. And that's crazy, okay? Like, it's a real cocaine. And these guys just consumed coca leaves casually, okay? Like, they just consumed it because they saw benefits in it. Benefits like, it's gonna give them so much energy, it's gonna give them so much, and they can do, and it's gonna give them so much energy that they can do more work than they can actually do, right? You see, they saw benefits in it, and that's why they used to consume it just for that benefit, okay? They didn't even believe that they're gonna become quote addicted to it. They literally showed, and even if someone would stop, and when they stop consuming coca leaves, they literally showed no signs of dependency or withdrawals. And this is one another interesting study, okay, to prove this, why addiction is not what we think it is. It's simply a belief, okay? Now, what you need to understand that, and also, ask yourself, why is it that some people watch porn once and then they find it disgusting and they never even watch it for their entire life, right? The thing is, they never even watch it again. What you need to understand that it's simply a behavior that you want to do because of the perceived benefits, right? And once you realize that you have full control over it, and there is nothing that is forcing you, literally nothing, there is no something else that is controlling you, something else that is forcing you or compelling you, but it's always you that is always in control, okay? There is nothing forcing you to do it, right? It's simply your own choice. You choose to watch porn because of the perceived benefits, right? You choose. And what you need to understand, that addiction, the concept of addiction, is very much mainstream. It's so much mainstream, meaning that because everyone believes in the same belief does not mean that it's objectively the truth. Okay, because every single person believes that there is believes in the concept of addiction does not mean that it's objectively the truth. Okay, just like because everyone believes in the concept of Santa Claus, because everyone believes that Santa Claus exists does not mean that it's objectively the truth. Okay, you need to start questioning yourself, you need to start questioning that belief. Okay, addiction is a mainstream belief, it's simply a concept. So, and you need to simply question this belief, and you can choose to stop believing in it. You can just remove this concept away. Okay, the thing is, now there is another very big misconception that comes when it comes to the concept of addiction, which is the brain changes. And I really wanted to add this in the video, the brain changes, which is also known as neuroplasticity. Now, many people will argue that, Ahmed, what about the brain changes? Do your brain does not change when you watch porn? Look, yes, your brain changes when you watch porn repeatedly, just like pretty much anything else in life. Okay. Now, why does your brain change? The question comes is, why does your brain change? Look, your brain changes because of one thing. Your brain changes to remove the resistance to watch porn. Now, what does that mean? Okay, to remove the resistance to watch porn? Look, your brain changes in order to create less resistance, in order to remove that resistance towards porn. Like, imagine the first time when you tried to watch porn, the very first time when you tried to watch porn, there was a lot of resistance towards it. There was a lot of resistance. You were like, oh, you were like, should I watch it? Should I not watch it? There was, and you kind of like waited for hours before watching it. There was a lot of resistance towards it. It's just like anything else. Okay, just like any other skill or habit. Like imagine, remember the first time when you learned to drive your bicycle. At first, when when you were trying to learn how to drive a bicycle, at first there was a lot of resistance. You were like, oh, should I drive it? Should I not drive it? And also there was kind of like a fear in your mind as well, that what if you fall down? What if you get injured? A lot of, and all of those things. And because of that, there was a lot of resistance towards driving the bicycle, right? But as time went on, you keep on driving. What happened is, now you drive your bicycle without much thinking. Right? There is much less resistance to drive the bicycle. There is much less resistance towards it, right? Meaning that you now drive your bicycle without much thinking. So what you need to understand, that yes, our brain changes in order to adapt. Our brain changes in order to adapt, to make it easier. To make it easier to do that same behavior, same activity over and over again, right? Just like pretty much anything else in life. Okay, you need to understand that yes, your brain adapts, your brain changes in order to adapt, to make it easier to do that activity over and over again, to do that behavior over and over again, meaning that there is much less resistance to do it, right? And it's just like anything else. Okay, it's just like literally anything else in life, and it's just like any other habit or skill that you learn. Okay, like just like a taxi driving. Okay, right? Piano, or maybe any sports, or maybe sports, or like learning to drive your piano, sports, what else, piano, sports, or any other skill or habit. Okay, whatever. So with all of those things, your brain changes to adapt. And why your brain changes? To adapt, to make it easier to do that activity, the same behavior over and over again, meaning that it removes that resistance to do that act over and over again. It removes that resistance. There is much less resistance when you do those things over and over again. Like a taxi driver, when he learns to drive a taxi the very first time, there is a lot of resistance towards it. But as time goes on, he drives the taxi over and over again. Now he drives it without much thinking, meaning that his brain changes in order to adapt, to make it easier to go and drive that taxi. Make it easier to remember the streets, to make it easier to drive the taxi, to make it easier to remember the streets, whatever. Okay. And also the brain of a piano player who plays piano every single day, constantly, repeatedly, yes, his brain changes in order to adapt, to make it easier to, so that he can easily play that piano over and over again, meaning that it becomes a habit, right? And also for like any other sports, like the very first time when you learn to play football, when you learn to play basketball, there is a lot of resistance, of course. There is a lot of resistance. But as time goes on, you keep on playing it, then your brain changes in order to adapt, to make it easier to play that sport, play basketball, to play football, over and over again, right? Meaning that you now build a habit, now it becomes a skill for you, right? To remember all the skills, your brain changes in order to adapt, to make it easier to remember all the skills, to remember all the stunts, whatever. Okay. And just like pretty much, and just like any other skill, yes, your brain changes in order to adapt, to make it easier to do that activity over and over again. But here's one thing to understand. Look, your brain can change. Your brain changes when you do any skill or habit repeatedly over and over again, but it does not change because of what you think. It changes in order to adapt, to make it easier to do that activity over and over again. It removes that resistance towards it. It creates less resistance to do that activity over and over again. But the brain changes cannot do one thing. They cannot force you or compel you to do that activity. The brain changes can never force you or compel you to do that activity over and over again. Okay, like think about the taxi driver. Okay, his brain will change, but his brain will change when he will drive taxi repeatedly, to remember the streets and all of those things. But he will not be forced to drive the taxi because his brain has changed. Just like a piano player, just like a person who plays piano every single day, his brain will change because in order to adapt, to make it easier. But the brain changes will not force him or compel him to play the piano. Just like a sports player. Okay, if you play basketball, if you play football every single day, then if your brain changes in order to adapt, to make it easier, but your brain changes cannot force you or compel you to go and play that sports. They cannot force you, they cannot compel you, right? They cannot take you over, whatever. So what you need to understand, that porn and with porn, it's just like any other habit or skill. Your brain changes just like it changes with any other habit or skill. Okay, but why it changes, you need to understand, to create less resistance to do that behavior, to make it easier to do that behavior over and over again. But the brain changes can never force you or compel you to do that activity. They can never force you. Okay, it's not possible. And let's say even if your brain was truly messed up, okay, even if let's say your brain was truly messed up, whatever, then let me give you a very real life scenario, a very simple example to understand this. Okay, so when people go to gym, let's say you're in the gym, and you try to do very hardcore workouts, you try to do a very hard exercise, whatever, and you keep on pushing yourself to do it. You keep on pushing yourself to do that workout, you keep on pushing yourself to do more and more reps, whatever. But at the same time, your brain gives you the signal, your brain gives you the signal that you should stop, and you should stop, and it hurts, it hurts, you should take some rest, but you still push yourself to do more reps. That's the best example of why you are always stronger than your own brain chemistry. You are always powerful than your own brain chemistry. Okay, That's the best example to understand this. Okay, your brain changes in order to adapt, to create less resistance to do that activity over and over again, to make it easier to do that behavior over and over again. But what they cannot do is to force you or compel you. They cannot do that, right? It's just you want to watch porn for the perceived benefits, right? So guys, if you like this video, make sure to drop a like and comment down below, and share this video as much as possible with your friends, so that more guys can benefit with this. See you soon in the next video. Take care. I'm out.